It's been canonized in two sources of literature that I can think of. The most famous one is the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, 三国演义. The setting is Emperor King at the time of the Northern Kingdom, the Wei. His name was Cao Pi. Any of you who've studied history know that in those types of more feudal or dynastic type of kingdoms, societies, when one person is the emperor, he's always worried about other people in his bloodline trying to overthrow him. So Cao Pi's looking for reasons to get rid of some of his brothers, his half-brothers, etc. In this scenario, Cao Pi has a brother named Cao Zhi, and apparently Cao Zhi is a very talented poet, just a very, very talented person. Whether just out of spite, out of jealousy, or just trying to secure his own rule, he goes up to Cao Zhi one day and he says, "Look, I heard you're very talented at your literature, at the humanities. As emperor, as your brother, I give you this task. You can only take 7 steps, and you better write me a poem. Fail at that, I'm going to execute you." So that is quite a task. What Cao Zhi writes not only becomes a very famous poem, it also saves his life. So this poem is called 七步诗, 七, 7, 步, steps, 诗 poem. So the 7-step poem. And let's read it. 煮豆燃豆萁，豆在釜中泣，本是同根生，相煎何太急. If you've never seen this or never heard of this, or if you've heard this and never had it translated or explained to you, I will do it. So don't panic. We'll break it down. Don't worry. Don't go, "Oh my God, I'm never going to learn this." So, first line, 煮豆燃豆萁. The word 豆 means bean. Cao Zhi starts out this poem with an image, with a symbol of beans. Now, 煮 means to cook, to steam, to boil. So, 煮豆, we're cooking, we're making beans, we're boiling beans. 燃 means ignite or burn. 煮豆燃豆萁. Now, 豆萁 is a word you say together. The word 萁 isn't usually used that much nowadays, but 豆萁 often means like a beanstalk, or just think of 豆萁 as another extension of the word bean. So now let's break down this first part. 煮豆燃豆萁. What does that mean? We're making beans and the beans are burning, or we're boiling the beans and the beans are burning. Again, I'm not going to use the word 煮 literally like boiling. I'm just going to say we're making the beans and the beans are burning, or we're making the beans and the beans are igniting. 豆在釜中泣. 豆, again, we've learned beans, right? 釜 is like an ancient cooking thing that we don't really use anymore, but it's like a cauldron or a big pot. 豆在 is like in or within. So 豆在釜中泣. So the beans are in the pot or the cauldron. And what is the word 泣? If you ever don't know a word, you can always try to see what have I heard it coupled with. One word you might hear is 哭泣, like crying, weeping. Now, if you don't know that word, we could look at this word and sort of break it down, right? We have the radical, that's the water radical. So maybe it has something to do with anything that has to do with fluids. But basically, what this line is saying is the beans are in the pot and they're crying. 本是同根生. So 本, it's got a lot of meanings. It can mean, for example, a book, but sometimes it could mean originally or in the beginning. A term you might hear is 本来. So we once were, or originally. So 本是. 是 is a very versatile verb. It could mean yes, it could mean to be, it could mean a fact, it could mean this is a fact. So 本是 means we used to be something. And what did we used to be? 同根生. 同 often means together or similar or same. 根 means like root or maybe stem, basically something of the foundation of a plant. And then 生 means born or given life. So 本是同根生. We're of the same origin. We're from the same root. We're basically the same. We have the same ancestry. The final line is extra poetic. 相煎何太急. So 煎 is another word for cook or steam or just, it's almost like fry. Basically, it's a method of cooking that's a little bit more violent or with a little bit more oil or with a little bit more fire. Applying this whole cooking beans analogy that he started in the beginning. The cool pun in this is 相见, sort of sounds like 相见. 相见 means like we see each other, we greet each other, we meet each other. So while in this case, he's talking about cooking the beans, these beans that are of the same root, cooking them violently, cooking them with a lot of oil, a lot of fire. But the pun is also about you, me, brother, when we meet each other. And then 和, you can think of 和 as like, why is it like this? Or there is not a reason for this. What is there not a reason for? 太急. 太急 means like we're so impatient or we're so at each other's throats. 急 often denotes something fast. You can also think of 急 as impatient. So 相见何太急. Why are we so impatient or so fast to be at each other's throats? Why are we at odds so quickly? Why are we having conflict so quickly or so soon or so fast? Cao Pi, the emperor, was so touched by this poem that he spared his brother's life. And this brother also got the writing on the wall and stayed out of Cao Pi's way for the rest of his life. And in fact, he died pretty young too. So now you understand the poem. Not only was it written in 7 steps, it also used cooking beans as the metaphor. So this is one of the probably most famous poems that you'll learn that has a tie-in to historical events. Whether it happened or not is another thing. But this poem has definitely been immortalized by the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. As a kid, I learned about this, but I didn't really think about this from like a literature and artistic perspective. That's why I'm going to consider this an advanced Chinese lesson, because many kids might be able to tell you what this poem is and be able to maybe even recite the poem, but to have them explain this to you like I did, I don't think many of the kids can. So this requires a little bit understanding of a lot of things, but now that you guys have gone through it with me, you guys can say, you know, a very famous Chinese poem. So good job, guys. Good job. If you need to watch the video again, watch it again, right? That's how you learn. Just repeat, take your time, and breathe. You'll learn it. So thank you guys, everyone. If you guys want a bonus, practice this poem. Recite it to people. Show people that you understand a really cool part of Chinese literature. Thank you guys so much. 煮豆燃豆萁，豆在釜中泣，本是同根生，相煎何太急. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.